missing, I'm a who that.
I'm a who that.
Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that.
I'm a who that.
Sports coma, this is where we do that.
Where we do that.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Shout out to the Hugh That Nation. We up in this thing as we get it going, man. Raiders, Saints, man. Live in the building. We up in this.
All right. Saints call it 2nd and 10 now. And the Raiders just simply trying to get a field goal in there. We just playing not to get blanked. All right. Let the Raiders feel how it feels to be 2-5, man. The Saints improved to 3-5. Shotgun. All right. From the Saints 38-yard line. Wide receivers, 3 of them to the left, 1 to the right. There's a snap. Saints come with pressure. Instead, I'm looking and dumps it off to look like the backup running back. Is that Jacobs? No, that's the backup running back. And he picks up a good gain of yards, and he's a yard shy of the first down. So they get into field goal position on that play. 1:13 and clicking down, and the Raiders just trying to get a field goal. All right, 3rd and 2 now. Wide receivers to the left and right of the formation. Stidham back there by himself, yelling out plays to his wide receivers. All right, 3rd and 2. No protections back there. They all out with the wide receivers. Saints are back. There's a snap, pressure coming. Ball out, almost picked off by the Saints, and it's incompleted to bring up a 4th and 2. Tyrann Mathieu had one, and he was gone if he got it. Tyrann, his anticipation ability is coming back. Tyrann could have had that one. Right there, Tyrann, boy, he should have had that. He'd still be running. That was a pick 6. He would have had it. It would have been gone. All right, but that's still good because that means Tyrann is looking. That's a positive. 4th and 2 now for the Raiders. And in the shotgun, wide receivers to the left and right of the formation. He lifts his leg. There's a snap. Saints come with the pressure. Ball's out. And Tyrann gets him and slams him down on the ground. He gets to the 18th yard of the Saints, and it's less than 40 seconds and ticking down. The Raiders trying to get a touchdown. They're trying to get a touchdown. Tyrann Mathieu on the tackle. All right. That pick would have been it for us, man. We'd have shut him out. You know, you got to, when you get your hand on it, Tyrann, that would have been third. That would have been the 3rd of the season. All right. So let's keep it going. They pan to Devontae Adams on the sideline looking mad. Good. All right. So cool, man. I'm loving this, man. Loving this. All right. Loving the hell out of this, man. All right, man. That's what I'm talking about. Saints defense handling the business as they go into like an in-game commercial to start pushing the games for next Sunday. So let's see what the Saints can do here and close out the game, man. Let's close out the game with a win, with a blanking. All right, there they go. They at the Saints 18-yard line in the shotgun, 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left, and there's the snap. Saints coming with pressure. And there's the throw, and it's toward the sideline and look like he's out of bounds. No touchdown. So it's out of bounds, says the referee. And Alontae Taylor on the coverage. Alontae Taylor using the out of bounds line like a defender. And you had to have a good catch, and he played it really good along the sideline. So the Saints will improve to 3-5. Right now, Atlanta's beating the Carolina Panthers right now. So this is pretty cool, man, to say the least. All right, shotgun Raiders, 2nd and 10. Wide receivers left and right. Pressure comes. Ball's out. and caught the catches made by Hollins. He's ripped down at the Saints 10-yard line. They'll be shy of 2 yards for the first down. So it'll be 3rd and 10 on the play. So Stidham moving the ball where Carr could not. Do they have a QB controversy? Probably not. All right, here they go. 3rd and 1. There's the snap. The ball is out. It's caught by Hollins, and he stops the clock, and it gets to the 6-yard line of the Saints. So he gets the first down. They have 7 seconds remaining on the clock by way of my stream. Let me see if I can refresh. Okay, they just changed it. All right, so yeah, it's showing my stream showing that they just got 7 seconds remaining on my stream right here. Let's see what goes on right here. Saints 7 seconds to a blanking. All right, Raiders sitting down at the Saints 6-yard line. Shotgun, wide receivers, 3 of them to the left. Do they go do this? And they got 1 to the right. There it is. The ball's out and automatically wrapped up by guess who? Pete Werner. Psycho Pete on the play, and Dennis Allen pumping his hand, and that will bring the final of the game. The Saints finish the game out with blanking out this team. Big win by the black and gold in this one, man. Let me tell you something. That was what we needed, man. We needed that in a major way, and the Saints came out and gave us the type of performance that we knew they could do. Dominating performance, and the Saints handled the business. Somebody said, Q, play the song, clue the song.
Like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Alvin.
Alvin was running that today.
Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you can probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees are Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that.
All right,
sports coma, this is where we do that.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about now. All right now. All right now. All right now. All right now. That's what the hell I'm talking about. All right now. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Will, you want to talk to him? Tell him. Let me tell y'all something, family. Let me tell you something.
Now that's how you supposed to drive. From now on, that's how you drive.
That's right, Will. Talk to him. Tell him. Let me tell y'all something, man. This was a fantastic affair, man. This was awesome, man. This was straight up awesome on every level. How the Saints dominated this game from start to finish. The first time in the entire game that they were able to get down, they being the Raiders, were able to get down into Saint territory the entire game. They didn't allow them to kick a field goal, and then they stop them on the last series to end the game. Domination. And listen, the Saints didn't make a trade. The Saints didn't add nobody new. The same players that was on this team from week 1 to 2, these guys have had them somewhere stashed on the practice squad. These guys have been a part of the team for the last several weeks. There is no new people coming in there doing this. The Saints found these guys that just needed to find their swagger by going back to fundamental football, running the ball and stopping the run. And the Saints did that, and look what they turned this game into. Listen, the Raiders are not chopped liver. In this game they are. In this game they are, but prior to this matchup, they had Devontae Adams, one of the top 10 best wide receivers in the NFL. Josh Jacobs was running like a dog, a mad dog around here. He was averaging over 6 yards a carry on the last 3 games. He finished the game for the black and gold, 10 carries for 43 yards. They shut Josh Jacobs down. They busted Derek Carr. They took the car, took the wheels off of it, busted the windows out of it, poured sugar in the tank, all that kind of stuff. They did it all to the car, had it so busted and towed down that they had to take the car and put the damn car out of the game and bring in somebody else. We busted the car up so bad they had to take the car up there and put it in the shop. They had to put it in the shop. Shout out to you, Rich. He said, we look in first place. I know, bro. Shout out to you on that. And listen, the difference is the intensity. You got to play with passion. Baby, you got to play with Baby, you got to play with passion. Not passion, but passion. You got to play with passion. That's what you got to do. This is an emotional game. You can't be some melancholy feeling going out there. No, you got to play with intensity. You got to play with passion. You got to play with intelligence, baby. You got to do that. And the Saints did that on every level in this game. Now, they had a few flubs here or there, but none of the flubby stuff stopped the Saints from overcoming. They didn't have no turnovers, and they got sacks and turnovers. Could have had a pick six, but the Saints built. This is something you build on going into the Ravens matchup. Let me tell you something. But anyway, let's move on to it, fam. Let's hit these team statistics because I'm going to have the post-game thoughts of Coach Dennis Allen and several others momentarily speaking, so y'all just stick with us. Hit the like button, family. Please feel free to hit the like button. All right, in this one, family, first downs, 22. Saints had 22 first downs, family, versus 13. Wait till we get to that time of possession. Watch how that time of possession trip your head up. Third down, Saints was 7 of 12. The Raiders were 5 of 14. 2 of 3 on third down. Saints 0 of 1. Saints had 63 total plays versus 56 by the Raiders. 367 total yards versus 183 by the Raiders. The drives were 9-8 advantage Raiders. The Saints averaged 6 yards per play versus 3.3 by the Raiders. Total passing, 231 versus 145 by the Raiders. The running attack, you look at that thing. Rushing, the Saints had 136 rushing yards off of 32 carries and averaged over 4 yards per carry. The Raiders, family, look at them stats. The Raiders, look at the rushing attacks. They turned off the Raiders rushing. This is the only way they could have stayed in the game because Derek Carr doesn't have the ability to carry the team. They needed Josh Jacobs to have the running attack. The Saints one-dimensionalized these Raiders, then sent the blitz on them and sacked them several times in the second half. 38 rush yards today by the Raiders on 13 attempts. They averaged less than 3 yards per carry. This guy came in the game averaging 6.5 yards a carry over the last 3 games, and the Saints destroyed them people running attack. Didn't allow them to get to the red zone until the final 2 minutes of the game, in which the Saints stopped them. Saints were 2-3 in the red zone. Six didn't start shooting themselves in the foot, and then they had 6 penalties for 59 yards. Saints had 5 for 27. The turnovers, one turnover was Tyrann picked the ball off, and it became an interception. Of course, it's an interception that turned into a touchdown. So we got points off the touchdown. And, of course, the time of possession, Saints held the ball 34 minutes and 51 seconds, almost 35 minutes of the 60-minute contest. So very good affair. 25 minutes and 9 seconds is what they held the ball for. The Saints took the clock away from these Raider people. Took it away from them. All right, anyway, let's move on to this, fam. The next move, here's the individuals. Andy Dalton today. 22 of 30 for 229, 7.6 per average on his throw, 2 touchdowns. He was kept in check down, but he had a few other throws that he had today as well. Now, despite the fact that the Saints gave Dalton 30 attempts, a lot of that was check downs. He really had a lot of check downs, which is a positive because he didn't turn the ball over. 117.2 is his rating. Taysom Hill was 1 for 1 for 2 yards, 79.2. Alvin Kamara, 18 carries for 62 yards. He averaged 3.4 yards per carry. Had a touchdown there. Taysom Hill, 10 carries, 61 yards, 6 yards per carry for Taysom Hill. Dwayne Washington, 4 carries, 13 yards. He averaged 3.3. Altogether, 32 carries, 136, 4.3 on the average, and a score. Alvin Kamara not only scored running the ball, but he scored as a wide receiver. Alvin had 9 catches. This is how great Alvin Kamara was today. He had 9 catches off of 10 targets for 96 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns to go along with his rushing touchdown. He averaged 11 yards every time he touched the ball. Chris Olave, 5 catches off of 7 targets for 52 yards, 10.4 on the average. Rashid Shaheed, 3 catches off of 3 targets for 38 yards and almost 13 yards per catch. And Jawan had 2 off of 4 for 14. Taysom had 1 off of 2. He dropped 1. Callaway thrown to 1 time, caught it. Nick Vannett thrown that 1 time, caught it, and so on and so forth. So, as you can see, the playmakers played big parts in this game. Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, they all were involved in the offensive game plan, and the Saints had major league success from an offensive standpoint. Let's go on down to the defense. Pete Werner, Psycho Pete, as my dog Teal calls him, 11 tackles, 7 of which was solo today. Paulson Adebo, 8 tackles, 1 for a tackle for a loss and had a pass breakup. Tyrann Mathieu, 4 tackles, along with Peyton Turner with 4 tackles. Peyton Turner, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks in the game in the second half of the contest. David Onyemata got going on that thing. Katavius Street and Cam Jordan had a half a sack each in the game, and they finished the matchup. Saints had 4 sacks on the Raiders today and knocked them up out of here. Will Lutz was 1 of 2. He missed a chip shot. Blake only 2 punts on the afternoon, which is a positive. Going on over to the Raiders, Derek Carr, 15 of 26 for 101, 4-yard average, interception, sacked 3 times, nothing shaking. The man rating was a disgusting 50.3. Saints shut him down. Stidham came in there, 18 of 13 for 72 yards, did a little bit better than his counterpart in the matchup, but still no points. Josh Jacobs, this is the story of the game for the Saints defense, because that was a statement win by the Saints defense setting the tone. They met one of the top backs in the league, Josh Jacobs, who's running like a crazy man over the last 3 games. This dude, 10 carries for 43 yards, 4.3 yards on the rush. The Saints, now a lot of that was due to the fact of 2 things. The Saints defense mushed him every chance that he got. The longest rush he had was a 16-yarder, which after he had that, he had nothing else. The Saints would gang tackle him. They ran to the football. They made it tough. And another reason why they went away from Josh Jacobs is because of the time possession. The Saints dominated the time clock and took a lot of it away, and the Raiders had to surrender a lot of the rushing plays to start throwing the ball a lot more than what they wanted to throw. Case in point, when you smother the clock like the Saints smothered the clock against the Raiders, look at the team's attempts, passing attempts versus rushing attempts. Family, the Raiders had 39 pass attempts versus 13 rush attempts. The disparity is 13 passing attempts versus 13 rushing attempts. Totally off balance, but that's due to the fact that the Saints stuffed what they did do of Josh Jacobs and then took the clock away from the Raiders, smothering them out. Their top guy wasn't Devontae Adams, who was thrown at 5 times and only had 1 catch for 3 yards, a minuscule, unimpactful 3 yards. They had to surrender and go back to that backup tight end who was slow, like this dude was Brad Muster slow. This dude running around like the field was made of quicksand. That's how Foster Monroe was doing. 9 targets, 6 catches for 31 yards, a non-impactful 6 yards, 6 catches for 31. And Mac Hollins, the slot guy, 7 catches for 64 yards off of 8 targets. The Saints pretty much snuffed out anything this team was attempting to do. And of course, that guy, top guys, this guy's going to be good for him. Devon Deblo, this guy was awesome. He had 14 tackles, 9 of which was solo. He leads the team in tackle, and you can see why. No sacks, no turnovers by the Saints today. They handled the business. Let's talk to Dennis Allen's on the podium. Here we go.
The way our guys played.
Coach, I know this was a big win for the team, but for you yourself, and also I know this was a number of years ago and this is just another game, but shutting out this team, just give me your take on that.
Yeah, well, look, I think anytime you get a chance to get a shutout in a game, I think that's huge. You know, they're hard to come by in our league, you know, the defense was challenged this week in terms of stepping up and playing the way that we're capable of playing. I thought they came out and played with energy, passion. I thought they played with a swagger, which was good to see.
Obviously, the defense was really well put together and everything. And what was that challenge like that? What did that encompass? Just kind of that process of getting them to step up and be where they were at this year?
Look, I think it was, I think it was just more, our guys just understanding that, we're perfectly capable of playing the type of football that we played today. And we hadn't done that up to this point. And so it's really just about our guys maximizing their potential. And I thought they answered the bell today.
Was anything with the preparation different, coaching staff, like playing together? Did you guys do anything different, like
No.
on that side of it?
No, it was
Getting the players to step up.
players played well.
Dennis, is this the blueprint, the way you need to get to wins? Is that what it was today? Is this what you need to do the rest of the season to be successful?
Well, yeah, I don't necessarily, not just us. I just think that's the recipe for success in our league. We won the time of possession battle. We won the third down battle. I feel like we were, getting them into a decent amount of third and longer situations. We didn't have, a ton of penalties in the game. We still have some things that we have to clean up. And I thought we ran the ball effectively. I thought we did a good job of stopping the run. And we didn't give up any explosive plays. So, yeah, there was a lot of good things. And yeah, I think that's the ability to run the football, stop the run, all right, and create some explosives is a big part of trying to win in our league.
Dennis, with everything Alvin did on the field today and sort of stepping up and being such a visible leader off the field this week, I mean, can you put into words how important he is to this team?
Well, I think he's really important. And I think that leadership has grown this season. And I think he understands that when you really look, offensively and some of the younger skill guys that we have, I just think that veteran leadership presence is important, and it's important to have that in your best players. And so I thought that was good to see him step up this week. And you know what? He didn't just step up in his words, he stepped up in his actions. And I think that's what a real leader does.
Dennis, was this the most your defensive line has been able to affect a quarterback so far this season? And could you talk about what Marcus and Cam and those guys were able to do today?
Well, look, I think we've always kind of said around here that's kind of the catalyst of what makes our defense go, is the way that our front plays and the way that we're able to stop the run. That starts with the front, and then the way that we're able to get after the passer, that starts with the front. So, I thought they played really well today, and that was what we were hoping.
Speaking of stopping the run, the defense held Josh Jacobs to just 43 yards on the ground, held Devontae Adams to just 3 receiving yards. What was the key to limiting those guys today?
Getting 11 hats to the ball against the runner and getting up and challenging the receiver. Devontae's a hell of a player, and he's one of the best receivers in our league. I do think that Paulson and Alante, I thought they answered the bell in terms of the challenge. They played the way that we're, accustomed to playing the game. There wasn't a lot of uncontested looks. There wasn't a lot of free access. There was a lot of challenge at the line of scrimmage. And, that takes some guts to be able to do that, out there against one of the best receivers in the league. And so I was proud of the way that those guys competed.
You made the call to stick with Andy this week. Do you think he had a pretty clean effort today?
Yeah, I felt like he did. I thought he did the things that we needed to do. There were some potential opportunities, where we could get the ball down the field. I think we had a, big ball to Shaheed down the field. But then when it wasn't there, he was willing to take the check down. I thought he utilized Alvin in the passing game really well. Look, I just think, right now with what he's doing. I think I think our offense is in a rhythm. I think our play caller's in a rhythm. I think our offense is in a rhythm. We're able to run the football, which is getting us into a lot more manageable third downs. And we're converting more third downs, and keeping the other offense off the field.
You mentioned all three phases, and you haven't seen that all year. Having a win like this, nearing the halfway point of the year, how can you build off this moving forward? How exciting is it to see them play like this and build off it?
Yeah, well, look, I think Sean used to say all the time, confidence born out of demonstrated ability, and I think we demonstrated the type of team that we're capable of being, and so hopefully we can continue to build off of that and continue to keep that swagger, because I think that's something that's unique about our team.
Dennis, how long were the last 10 days, and how much did this team just need something like this?
Yeah, look, I think anytime you're not playing as well as you think you're capable of playing, to get out and have a performance like this, I think is uplifting to everybody. I think the reality is we got a lot of great guys in that locker room. We got a lot of great veteran, leadership in there. And, they basically said, all right, enough's enough, and it's time to go get this done. And I think, our players did a great job.
Dennis, I know you talked earlier this week about just the way Alante competes when he's out there, but I mean, when you have a player bring a little bit of that edge out there on the secondary, what does that do for the unit as a whole?
I think that's what our unit's been. I think our unit, that unit back there, has always played with a swagger. They've always been competitive. They've always gotten up and challenged. And look, I think Adebo was feeling better this week. Alante's always had that. We got him back and healthy, and so that's the way that we've always played around here, and that's what's allowed us to have success.
Dennis, Alvin had a whole bunch of touches in the first three quarters. Was that by design? Is that something you talked about all week, trying to get him the ball maybe more often, or was that just how it played out?
Well, I think a little bit of both. Look, Alvin's one of our best players, so we go into every game wanting to utilize him. We felt like there were some opportunities in the pass game that presented themselves to get the ball to him, and I thought he ran some outstanding routes. Andy did a good job of getting him the ball, but yeah, we go into every game thinking we got to get Alvin the ball.
And kind of a light one here, hopefully. Did you see or hear about Alvin's comment in the week that he hoped the Saints could whoop the Raiders, and that would hopefully make you happy? And I wonder what you thought about it before the game and what you think about it now.
Feel much better about it now.
Dennis,
Okay.
what about Peyton Turner, a young player like him, the type of game that he had here tonight?
Yeah. Look, there's a reason why we drafted him in the first round, and he's a capable player. We've got to get him out on the field and keep him healthy, and that's us, that's him, that's all of us, because he's capable of doing it. And now it's just a young guy being able to be consistent and doing it game in and game out. All right, thanks, guys.
All right, that's Dennis Allen, family, with his thoughts on the post game. Did a fantastic job. Here's Tyrann Mathieu, fam.
I get to go first, so I actually wanted to ask you about two of your teammates. One's in the room, so it's a little awkward. But what was your impression of going up against Alvin all these years, and what did you think of sort of the way he took over in this game and some of the things he did this week too?
Yeah, obviously he's always been that kind of player. Even throughout camp, just having to deal with him, every day in practice. I think that's really what we expect from him. And I think personally, you kind of seen it coming. You saw the passion come out of him, after the Arizona game. So I know he was itching, to get back on the field today.
And I wanted to ask you about that play Marcus Davenport made on 3rd and 1 when he kind of picked Devontae Adams up and you guys denied him on that 3rd and 1. How big of a moment was that in this game? I know there were a lot of big plays today.
Yeah, that was a big time play. Actually, we kind of got hit on that play in London when we was playing against the Vikings. And, I think he kind of took it personal, to not let that happen again. So, I think anytime you make plays like that, it not only gets the defense going, but, the whole sideline, the whole team.
Talk about how important that was for you for the secondary play today, that y'all didn't give up a big play, that y'all just kind of kept things under control for the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, I think, really that's what we're capable of. I think obviously, we're still missing, a few pieces, but, I think when we play loose, when we play our kind of style, when we're not pressing, I think mostly that's what we're capable of. So, I think this is just one game, but, I think it was a good one for us.
Tyrann, that's what I was going to kind of follow up on there. I mean, obviously, you all have talked all season about the guys you have in the locker room. You know we're capable. Every win's a big win, but to get a win like this, do you feel like we just needed it at this point?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't think I've ever been, really a part of a shutout. You know what I mean? So played in this league a long time, but I think to be able to play the kind of ball we played today, from the front end to the back end, against a really good offense, really good quarterback, runner, great weapons on the outside. I think that's what we need. But I think most importantly is, like I said, as long as we don't press, we kind of stay loose and stay into it. I think that's really what we're capable of as a defense.
Tyrann, how hard is it to get a shutout in this league? And when did you start thinking about it during the game?
I didn't think about it not one time, to be honest. But, to answer the first part of the question, I think it's extremely hard. These are the best athletes in the world, some of the best throwers in the world, the best route runners, best runners. So it's hard to kind of keep those guys out of the end zone, you know what I mean, for 60 minutes. So, hats off to really our coaches, the scheme, and then, the guys too. You know what I mean? I think we really put our head down, put in the work. Obviously, I think we heard all the noise, around our defense, but, I think we never really bought into it. You know what I mean? I think we always kind of knew what we were capable of. So, like I said, this was a good game. We got another big time opponent, coming in here next week. So, I think really, you just want to celebrate this one, but move on.
Yeah, Tyrann, the last few weeks, the word swagger has come up a lot, and you see what Alontae Taylor's been able to do the last 2 weeks as a rookie to come out with that level of confidence. Is that normal? Like, what do you see from him?
I've been around a few of them. I think he's one of them for sure. But I think mostly, man, it really comes down to just preparation. He's always into it, throughout the week, one of the first guys on the practice field, we getting ready for practice. So, just always kind of working on his craft. So, I think in the beginning of the season, we had a pretty deep, DB room, you know what I mean? I think he had that chip on his shoulder that, he wanted to be able to help us. So, his time has come around and, I think he's really showing up for us big time.
Trying to limit Davante Adams to 3 receiving yards, Josh Jacobs to 43 yards on the ground. How big was that to limit those guys today?
I mean, it was huge. Obviously, I think, the last 5-6 years, this has been a great defense, up front, stopping the run. So, and then just kind of getting back to that, that style and that spirit, I think that's what it's all about. So, like I said, hats off to our coaches. None of those guys pressed us or anything like that. I think that's what it's about. Just kind of staying together, kind of weathering the storm. And then, your playmakers just got to go out there and make a few plays, get everybody going. So I think we was kind of able to do that today.
Tyrann, if I read the stats right, I don't think the Raiders offense got across midfield until their final drive of the game. How rare is something like that in your experience, and how much has to go right for that to happen?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty rare. Like I said, these some of the best athletes in the world. You know what I mean? Some of the best coaches as well. So, to kind of, limit those guys and fluster them, for pretty much, 55 minutes of the game. Like I said, hats off to our coaches, you know what I mean, for the scheme, and then, the leaders too, just kind of sticking with it.
Tyrann, you got your second interception of the season today. How good did it feel, and kind of what did you see on that play?
Really just trying to get to the ball. I think tips and overthrows are a big part of the game. So, I'm kind of pissed off about the one I dropped. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm like, I can't get that one out of my head. So, but yeah, it's cool to make a play for your team anytime. Appreciate it.
That was Tyrann Mathieu, bro, breaking down the game. And here comes Alvin Kamara, who should be the player of the game. Alvin Kamara.
Alvin, talk to me about the touches, the amount of touches you had in the first half that really helped build your momentum throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I can get those touches in bunches, and I think early and often, I feel like I can get going and really impact the game. You know, I feel like I can do that every game. You know, luckily this game I was able to get some plays dialed up that got the ball in my hands, and you know, O-line was on point, outside the receivers was on point, tight ends were on point. I mean, we came in wanting to kind of just impose our will, like we talked about, just getting back to playing our style of football. So, you know, obviously, I mean, it looks like it's me, but it's a team thing. So it was refreshing to kind of get that.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I mean, you expressed so much passion about wanting this team to get back to what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
How gratifying was it to be able to have the impact on it that you were able to have today with your first touchdown of the season and then all three of them?
Yeah, I think Tyrann kind of hit on it. It goes into preparation. You know, I think after the Arizona game, you know, I said what I said. Everybody pretty much echoed and agreed. You know, I mean, some of the things we were doing weren't up to par with, you know, how we played around here in the past couple of years. So, you know, during the week, I think that was in everybody's head, and it showed during practice. You know, we had a great week of practice, and we came out here and we wanted to start fast. You know, started fast, got on them early, and man, it just when you get rolling like that and are able to kind of just impose your will, it means a lot. So just moving forward, I think we if we can keep doing that, we will be where we want to be.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, as best you can say it, how much did you guys need this one just to show that you could do this?
I feel like we need to win every week. You know, I mean, we haven't been obviously, but you know, we got back on track. Went out there, shut out, defense played lights out. I mean, that's how our defense plays. That's how they're supposed to play. That's what we expect. You know, offense, we went out there, we did what we were supposed to do. That's what we expect every week. When it doesn't happen, I'm pissed, you know, and I'm sure the coaches are pissed, everybody, but, you know, it's just holding everybody accountable. I mean, it's just about, it's like ethics, you know, just everybody being accountable to themselves and then to their teammate. And then, you know, it's just operating on a certain gradient of self-accountability and, you know, policing each other. So when you have a team that, you know, has some woes and, you know, we're looking for kind of that breakthrough performance and that breakthrough somewhere. It's just like, it's justifying to kind of get that. And, you know, we're policing each other and doing the things we need to do to get back on track.
A few of you touched on this at the beginning of the week with kind of the state of the division right now. And the Panthers and Falcons are tied, by the way. So there could be a major tie for first place. Did y'all talk about that a lot this week? Just kind of the opportunity that could lie ahead if you could maybe have a performance like this and kind of start turning things around?
I think it was a conversation, not one that I particularly care about too much because I'm just focused on what's going on in this locker room. You know, whatever the rest of the division is doing, that's what they're doing. I just want to focus on the Saints and getting us to where we need to be and preparing every week and playing our best football. And if we do that, and like we did today, I think we'll like where we are. So I don't really have too much to say about the rest of the division.
You've said a lot about this game. The second touchdown when you spiked the ball, how emotional were you at that point in this game? Having a great game and all that.
It ain't really emotional. It's just like I was having fun. You know, I try to have fun every game. You know, obviously when you can get in the end zone, it's a little bit more fun. So, you know, just I think it was just energy more than emotion. I think because I mean, like it's been the trending topic. Like that's what we've been trying to get back to. Just having fun, playing with energy, playing with passion, playing with swag, and just having pride about the things we're doing. So, you know, going out there and, you know, shutting the team out and basically having our way the whole game, doing what we want to do. It's like, I mean, it's fun. That's kind of what that was. I mean, on that touchdown.
Is that the farthest you ever spiked the ball away from the end zone?
Probably. It's supposed to go up. I think it'll probably, it's going to be a point of emphasis on the film because JT, Joe Thomas, he always pulls up the spike. And I think, I'm trying to think who had some good spikes. We watched one, Zach Line had a terrible spike last year. I mean, like 2 years ago. So, I mean, I know that's going to be on film. We'll talk about it, but yeah.
I know earlier this week, Mario used the word swagger and you've used it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're in the moment, but do you feel like the swagger is back or at least on its way back after a win?
Yeah,
like
I think it's on its way back. You know, we had a nice performance right there, but you know, swag ain't shit if it's not consistent. So, you know, you could do it one time, but you got to be able to string it together. So, I mean, we looking for the same type of preparation this week. I know I am. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for the next. I ain't even trying to really celebrate this one. I mean, I expect to win every week. So I'm not like hip hip hooray right now. I'm like, okay, cool. We put it together. Let's see if we can do it again. I'm calling for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm gonna have the same messages I did last week. You know, just because we had a nice game this week, don't mean that it should fall off or taper down. Like we got to do the same thing next week and the next week and the next week. Put it together. That's really what swag is. Swag is consistency. So.
Yeah, but how much, if at all, do you pay attention to stuff that's on social media as far as rumors and all that stuff?
You talking about? You get specific.
Yeah, about the trade.
about the trades.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in playing anywhere else. So, I mean, with that being said, if I were to get traded hypothetically, man, shoot, I'll probably be eating popcorn somewhere. But I don't really pay attention to it too much. My friends and stuff send it to me. I'm like, man, I know this is not true. I don't want to ask you because I don't really talk about football. I don't watch football too much. So when something like that come up, it's either my mom or like my friends, like Tone shit, like my boys, they hit me and they be like, man, what's up with that? I'm like, bro, I'm not worried about none of that. They're like, yeah, I know you're not. Just keep doing your thing. So, yeah, if I were to hypothetically get traded, I'll probably be eating popcorn like in Texas somewhere, Andy Dalton house or something. I don't know.
A follow up to that, I want to ask you about what you said about DA winning this game and going out and.
Oh yeah, he lied. He lied. During the week I was for real. I was telling the truth. He didn't really say anything about it, but in the locker room he was like, "Yeah, I lied. This shit meant a lot to me." So, I stick to what I said. We was gonna go out there and beat their ass, and we did that. So, cool. Yep.
All right, that's AK-41, man. On there, and he said he upheld it for Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen said that he lied. This means something. They go Andy Dalton family to talk about it. Here's Dalton.
He probably answered all the questions anyway. So,
how much did you using him? What was that? The method of the offense that was that at the start of the game? Had y'all already prepared to use him quite a number of times, or the way the process went?
well, we know the matchup that we have with him. And so in the pass game, I mean, if you can get the ball in his hands in space, you can see what he can do with it. And the 2 plays today that we scored on, with him, it's just him getting open, get him the ball, and let him do the rest.
Andy, was this game just like kind of like a sign of what's possible for you guys with when you don't turn the ball over and you don't have the mistakes that have kind of plagued you for the first 7 games?
I think by far this is the most complete game that we've played up to this point. And I mean, I think it shows what we can do when we play the right way. And for us, we've got to keep that going, keep that as the mindset, the mentality that this is how we expect to play.
Andy, you played against your former team before. I know the whole thing with Dennis Allen with the Raiders. Could you tell it all this week? And did the players really want to get that one for him today?
Yeah, I think it's always extra special when you can get a win against a former team. And like AK was saying, he made it seem like it wasn't a big deal, but it is. I mean, it is. And for us, I'm happy that we were able to get the win, not only win, but win the way we did. I think that means even more.
Andy, I think both of those touchdowns that Alvin were on choice routes, right? Why is he so good at that? I mean, we've seen him do this over and over and over again in his career, but what makes him, in your eyes, now that you're with him, so tough to guard on those?
Well, I mean, like I said, you got to get him the ball in space, and he can create separation, and he can win on those routes. So the matchup that we have with him on whoever out there is in our favor. And, I mean, it showed today what he can do once you get the ball in his hands in the right amount of time with him to, operate with it in his hands. And so, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is just he's so talented and can do a lot. Yeah.
You've talked about how the importance of the game for Dennis Allen. Did he get a game ball afterwards for this?
I mean, nobody handed him one. I mean, we can give him one for sure, but nobody gave him one though.
Yeah, I just out of curiosity, the offensive line. I mean, those guys took a lot of flack early in the season. I don't think you were touched today. And how well have those guys been playing
I
lately?
mean, they've been playing great. I mean, to come out of a game to not only not get sacked, but not really get hit at all either. I mean, that's testament to what they're doing and what we were able to do in the run game today as well. I think that's so important. Those guys have found a groove, and those guys have meshed well. I feel like those guys are playing great.
Andy, the way that you won today, moving forward, how can you build off something like this?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely gives us momentum, and this is the expectation for us moving forward to play a complete game. And so, I mean, that's where we're at, and we just got to keep building on it.
I'm sorry, Andy. One last thing about Alvin. You said those are both choice routes. How good is he at that? You know, you played with a lot of running backs. How often does he make the right choice?
He never makes the wrong one. He's got a choice to make whichever one he thinks is best. So, I mean, shoot, 2 touchdowns today. I mean, it shows, I mean, he's pretty good at it. Oh.
Everyone in the locker room is kind of talking about, we think about our swag, about what point made you feel like we're back, things football back, we got our swag back.
I think the tone we set early on, I think just the way we came out to play today, and just got to stay that way. Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Andy Dalton, Alvin Kamara, and others, man, chiming on this episode of the Coma and the pregame, man. Let me tell you something. It was an excellent game for the black and gold in many ways, man. And this one, setting the tone, pulling up and getting the W. Great. And we were looking at that saying the Saints needed to level up and have a dominating performing to set the trend. And that's exactly what they do. They set the trend. You hear what Kamara said when asked about the swag question. And they asked Kamara about the swag question, and Kamara said, yeah, I think we get the swag is coming back, but the swag don't mean nothing if we can't string together some wins. It don't mean nothing. And the swag is the way the Saints defense played with so much intensity, so much energy, that it set the tone for the game. The offense simply fed off of it. No turnovers, 0 turnovers. That's a big point of emphasis. Only the second time the Saints have done that this season. The first time they've done it in a winning effort. Remember the other game where they didn't have any turnovers against the Cincinnati Bengals and they lost the contest. You know, so, but in that, if we had this defense, the 7 prior weeks, we probably would end up flipping that record over. But anywho, Saints get the dubs. And this one, family, 24-0. Man, great win by the black and gold in this thing, man. And like we said, Andy Dalton, 22 of 30, 229, 2 touchdowns on the night. Alvin Kamara, 18 carries for 62 yards in the score. He's also the Saints' top rusher and top receiver, 9 catches for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kamara responsible for 3 touchdowns in the matchup. And he's my player of the game and how he handled the business against other teams. Let's go into some NFL scoreboard. Besides that, right now we see the Panthers and Falcons are in overtime, 7:09, 34-34, tied up, and the Panthers have the ball and are marching. Titans right now starting their game off is blank. Titans 0-0 right now as it's going on with the Texans 0-0. Commanders also 0-0 with the Colts. Niners are 0-0 with the Rams. Giants, who are 6-1, believe it or not, are 0-0 right now early on. Of course, tonight's game will be the Packers and Bills, and and this is a couple of the final games. Of course, we know the Cowboys beat the hell out of the Bears, 49-29. They improved to 6-2. The Cardinals, who we lost to last week, go down by the hand of the Vikings, who are now 6-1, 34-36. The Patriots come back to beat the Jets 22-17. The Broncos and Russell Wilson gets a win 21-17 over the Jags. The Dolphins come back and beat the Lions. The Lions were beating the Dolphins. The Dolphins come back on them and win the game 31-27 in Detroit. And of course, the Eagles continue their undefeated ways. They are 7-0 now with a 35-13 blasting of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you know that. And of course, you know about Thursday's matchup. The Ravens took down the Buccaneers 27-22. So anyway, let's look into the Standings in the NFC South, as you can clearly see right now, Falcons and Carolina battling it out right now. In overtime, we'll see who wins that game. Right now, the Saints are 3-5 in the situation. You see in divisional play, Saints are 1-2. Carolina's 2-0. At Tampa's 2-1, and Atlanta's 0-2. So depending on how things play out with the matchup between the Panthers and the Falcons, it'll be interesting. So anyway, we'll see. 4th and 5 on Atlanta, 15-yard line. Looking like Panthers might end up winning the game. So anyway, with that being said, fam, a fantastic game. And for our Pelican people, right now, the Pels, who got started playing at 2:00, they are leading the Clippers 68-64. And after this game goes final, the Pelican post-game report will follow up on the Pelican post-game report platform on YouTube. So if you like the Pels, go on over. We do the Pelican post-game report, recap the Pelicans matchup. So right now they're winning 70-64 over the Clippers, who've lost 3 in a row. Pelicans trying to get to that 4-2. So let's feed off that positive energy. Made both our Raiders. Our Pelicans beat the Clippers, and our Saints beat the Raiders today, 24-0, handling the business. So that's pretty positive. So with that being said, family, we're gonna get ready to clock out on that. Man, listen, it's been fun today having it, family. It's always fun in a win. It's always fun in a win. It's always fun in a win. Always fun in a win. A lot of great things, and let's get some last thoughts right here. This is the type of team that we knew that the Saints were going to be. And many times in contrast, you got to let people know, listen, and we were saying that the whole time, haven't lost faith in the team. You're playing below what you're capable of playing, and you need to step up and handle the business. Well, it took the Saints to go 2-5 before the Heat got to the point where they needed to turn it up. So for family members like, hey, Q, man, listen, we had a lot of stuff that was going on and yada, 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 and this, that, and third. Listen, all the people out there that was blistering on the Saints, keep it up, because the Saints needed that. Sometimes you got to put that. Sometimes people, if they had it in their hands, they would never allow themselves to get 3 games under 500. You see what I'm saying? That's dangerous. So at some point, the heat is needed. This is the same pressure and the heat that the Who Dat Nation has provided on the Saints for years. The Saints were bad for 20 years before they even got close to getting the club. Over 20 years, they were a terrible team, a doormat, doing stupid stuff, until the people got tired and said, listen, we're not going to support you no more unless you show us you can do something. The pressure of the people stepped up, pressured them to do the right things, and the Who Dat Nation says, listen, we'll rep for you, we'll do this type of stuff, but you have to handle your business. So a lot of what the Who Dats were putting that flame on the team, take it as how you feel, players. You wasn't handling the business. You wasn't doing what you're supposed to do prior to this matchup. And when the pressure came, it propelled the team to step their game up and handle the business. And they did, because we knew all the time that this is how you play football in the black and gold. And like the great Will Smith always says, Will gonna tell you, and that's what Will Smith will tell you to all the Saints out there, the Saints players.
That's how you supposed to drive. From now on, that's how you drive.
That's how you drive. That's how you handle the business. That's how you do your thing. That's how you handle it. So we got some smoke for anybody coming. So just congratulate each other, because this is a good win to blank them out like that. Anyway, yeah, the division still out front the Saints. We got a lot going on here, but it's still out front the Saints. The Saints are slowly going to get players back to add to their team. But like we talked about on the Black and Gold Roundtable last night, that through the losing, the Saints found on the back end of losing contests is their identity. They didn't have the identity. And I said that when the season started, they didn't have identity. They was out there throwing the ball 47 times and all this kind of foolishness. No. So they went back to basics, running the ball and playing defense. That's what they're doing. They do that really well. They stick to that, they're going to have a lot of success. So with that being said, man, this is absolutely awesome, man, in this thing. So anyway, shout out to the rest of the Who Dat Nation in this thing, man. Appreciate y'all being in the building. Yeah, Chris says, did I miss your super chat? Okay, no, this is for the Dalton 9 cents. He did his job. Shout out to you. Thank you, Chris, for that. I think you was the super chats came on while the interviews was playing, bro. But yeah, Giants beat the Ravens. They can slap the Ravens. Okay. All right, Giants beat the Ravens. Yeah, Giants are playing really good football now, man. So that's interesting. Thank you, Chris. Shout out to Be Nice for what he said. I said shout out to you guys. Thank you as well for that. Rich says no Q, Carolina is winning, and that's an old one because it's tied near in overtime right now. So yeah, I got you, Chris. Thank you, bro, for your super chat. And brother Rich, shout out to you for both yours. Yeah, we can look to take the first place from these guys, man, and get on code and handle the business, man. And let me take the time to give a shout out to the rest of the family members that Cash Apped as well. All right. Shout out to brother Quincy. Washington, shout out to you, brother Quincy. Thank you for the Cash App. He says $5. He says for the Who Dat from ATL. Thank you, bro. Shout out to Christopher Waterman. As today is Keep the Faith. Thank you, brother Christopher. Shout out to you. And brother Brent Norris, shout out to you. He says, we have the weapons, we need them on the field. So shout out to those brothers, brother Quincy Washington, brother Christopher Waterman, and Brent Norris. Shout out to you guys. Thank y'all for y'all Cash Apps. And thank the rest of the family members for your super chats. And thank the rest of the family members, period, for joining us for the stream. We had a lot of fun today. Victorious 24-0 win over the Raiders. So the Saints improved to 3-5 in the division. And man, right now the Pelicans are handling the business. They're winning 75-67. So all together right now, it's a fantastic time. Tulane doing their thing. It's a fantastic time to be a area sports family member. I tell you what. So with that being said, thank you guys for chiming in on this episode of Tacoma. I'm gonna blank up out of this thing and listen. And remember, family, feel free to hit the like button. Hit the like button for your boy. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. In this thing, man. Appreciate the Who That's out there doing their thing and the subscribing and hitting the subscribe. And also it helps us out for you guys to share the show's links on social media feed. It helps the stream out so much as well. And I like to thank you guys for chilling with me for the last 3.5 hours. Man, we got to win. That's all I know, man. I'm happy. And I'm going to be back, family, on Monday. We're going to talk about it some more on Monday as well. And then, Wednesday, we'll have the preview as we have a special guest coming in to preview the Baltimore Ravens matchup. That'll be on this upcoming Wednesday. But first, let us sit back and pour out libations and celebrate as our Saints get the win 24-0 over the Raiders. So with that being said, I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace, and Who Dat to you now.
Yeah. Like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elvis. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, like this, and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. You're listening to the sports coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Your black and gold home for the New Orleans Saints.
Pro Shop, that's right, the Pro Shop, is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That too. TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.